Fiend started off strong here on Nuke and they managed to take the win. And we get to see these Bulgarians once again fight strong, have some crazy rounds. It could have actually been a more convincing scoreline in some of the situations of how these rounds went down because Movistar multiple times was letting the ball slip.
I can tell you, James, I am seriously regretting my decision to pick Movistar after this map because I thought like Nuke was a lock for them, right? Yeah. Like everything was pointing towards it. They also had an insane first half, 9 rounds T side, right?
Oh look, there we go. Just a reminder.
Oh yeah, thanks. Production, appreciate you. Yeah, rub it in. No, but it was a scrappy second half from Fiend, right? Yeah. Everything went their way in a sense of all the win conditions were ticked. Win pissed around and convert. Every time Movistar would win around on the CT side, Fiend would win the next round, resetting their economy, right? Always keeping them on the back foot. And yeah, some great rounds and great individual performances.
Yeah, like you said, after that first half, like I was confident that Movistar will pull it out, you know. Just the way that Fiend played at CT side, you know, they gave a lot of agency to Movistar and outside. Usually what you want to do is when those smokes come out, a lot of teams did in this tournament as well. It's like you rotate someone down into secret, you know, just to hold that area of the map to make sure, like, you know, they don't surprise you with a beat or something. But none of that from Movistars, you know. They just, from Fiend actually. Movistar basically being able to take that secret control almost every single round, you know, and that's how they converted a lot of those T-sides. But on the other side, also very strong T-side from Fiend.
And what we do want to see, right, we're going to take a look at this round 26 one where it was actually kind of almost, he deserved to win that clutch, you know? It was so close in how that all went down.
Yeah, and it's also important, right, to note, even though he didn't end up winning the round Red Star here, and this is also sort of a half by some saved guns from Movistar, right? And you would say, oh, they can boost their economy here, like, oh, they can finally, like, the reset thing, the reset aspect will not be so important. But when he's getting, that was an insane shot, but now he gets 3 kills in a 1v4, right? It was also, he could have actually clutched it all the way. And even though, yeah, Movistar, it's important to you know, you won the round, but the fact that they still lost 3 players, that pressure just kept on for them and on their economy.
And even getting the plant right, just the extra benefit in all of this for Red Star for the side of Fiend.
Absolutely, and you know, here still he was low HP, so that really helped Alex. But that's the thing; it's like it's the details. Everything matters, especially if you're Movistar. How many times do we see a team with a good T side, they switch to the CT side, and they're just not gambling at all? Like they're just you know saving, they're taking risks. You know, 3v5, you just pick a bomb side to stack, right? And it's difficult to come back on the T side because of that. But Movistar couldn't really do it. The rounds went in a way where they didn't have that many saves and couldn't rebuy all the time.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with the Movistar game plan, right? They themselves said in the interviews, like, we don't really like to do gambles on our CT sides. They don't really stack sides. They just try to, you know, kind of do a default, figure it out, but none of that gambling we should get to use from other teams.
So Janko, as I am the king of interviews, I want to ask you, why did you pick this next round out?
This next round is because what should be the strength of Movistar actually turned out to be their weakness in a sense, right? So here's a round, they know what's coming. They have a setup against this A execute. You can see that he's going to pull off a smoke, so they kind of have a protocol set up. They have info on yard, that no one's out there, right? You can see him returning the smoke, but the setup just fails, right? Because the last flash, like you're always trying, if you're this A player, you're always trying to be turned away until you feel like the last flash popped, and then you turn your crosshairs so you don't get blind and get the kills. He missed the timing by a little bit. Both him and Mopos were there looking at hot, and they just still couldn't get the kills, just got 1 kill, got traded away, right? So even in situations where you feel like they have the setup, they have the read, they just couldn't get the kills, and that was the final nail in the coffin.
And this is why you paid the big bucks, the king of answers as well.
Too many bucks.
too many
Sometimes
bucks.
I feel bad about it, but most of the time I don't.
I'm about to say, yeah, you should really, right? Yeah, just take it, you know, all the time. just esports, yeah, definitely just esports. Now we're going on to Mirage though, right? And this is where Fiend certainly have the comfort, but I'm not going to say like Movistar's completely out of it, right? This is a map they can come to play and play off the fact that they are a together team with this.
Yeah, I think so. This is where you need to come together, right, as a team and show some of that mental fortitude that we saw from them on day 1, where they lost the opening game and then came back to stomp and Tropics. They're not out of it yet, right? But Mirage does really feel like, I mean, they have, I think, under 30% win rate on this map, and Fiend has already played a couple of times in the tournament. Unfortunately, I feel like unless they get some, you know, even the Movistar won 3 clutches in this game, right? Fiend didn't have any, so they even had that going for them. I just feel like Fiend is they just have the upper hand at the moment.
For me, what will be really interesting in this map will be that battle for mid. So Fiend coming into this tournament, actually not coming into today, were the second highest rated team in terms of getting those opening kills, opening up the round for their favor. And we saw it pan out against Big, taking that mid control, get that mid to A wraps going in. Very strong T side from them there. And I think they will try to shut down the Movistar CT side very early on here.
And I'll tell you, James, Movistar gets to start on the CT side. They had an abysmal CT side on Nuke. They have to have like 9-10 rounds here because the CT side of Fiend, the Bulgarians on Mirage is really strong. The double up setup is destructive, so they have to have a much better start. Slow start and they're dead.
And also, you got to look at this for Movistar. You've got like your analyst, you've got your coach. They've got the full setup, the full team.
The manager, the chef, the business instructor, the translator, everyone.
And this is what I mean. So they got the full stack, and compared to the Bulgarians who are just kind of doing as best they can.
What they got. A coach, just like stand behind, like cheer him up. No, yeah, but listen. I know these guys. I played against Bubble. I played against Dreamer. way back when Victor. So they've been around for a very long time, and their whole careers, unfortunately, actually, they've always had to work with scraps in a sense, right? Like some small orgs here and there, not too much support. It's really unfortunate because there was, I feel like with proper support, they could have really broken into the top 10. It's only been a tournament here, a tournament there, right? So I wish they could get that, so to speak, and create kind of that Bulgarian super team. And I was really bummed out that they didn't make the major, as another team to represent the region. But yeah, maybe next year.
And another thing we've got to look at from is their motivation. You talk about how long they've been playing for. These are some guys that seriously want it, and especially at an event like this, they go, cool, look how close we are to getting it.
Yeah, bottleneck for a very long time because of that whole Dreamer backband situation. We mentioned this dozens of times already, not being able to make those Valve events, always having to play with a standing, maybe bringing in someone like, I think Spy Leader was always the go-to back then. So this is where, this is a chance to come back, show that, your career is still being built, lands are coming back, you can finally play. Obviously, they played in the previous RMR, and then this is where you have to do it.
This is where they have to do it for sure. For Movistar, though, what do you think their mentality is going to be like after dropping off Nuke? Because I think for them as a team right now, it's been such a downhill compared to the highs we saw during the RMR.
Yeah, it's rough. You wonder if they maybe overperformed a little bit during that last RMR and then at the major to some extent because they didn't really have any notable results before that, right? And the Bulgarians are a team, that just mentally also are able to run you over, right? And they play with a lot of confidence on the server. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. Like that's why they were able to crush FaZe on Mirage 16-6. They don't care that it's FaZe, right? That they're gonna get in your face, they're gonna play their style. And I'm afraid that Movistar, looking as shaky as they are, don't have enough in the tank to really deal with that.
And if they do go out, so Movistar go out 2-0 here, right? How does that look in your eyes from where they are, from the highs, and how far they've potentially fallen? Because this is an event where minimum you should be looking at, cool, you're one of the invited teams, you're one of the favourites on paper, you should be looking at top 4, top 3.
Yeah, I guess it's a question of expectations management, right? Coming into the RMR and the major, they didn't really have a lot of expectations set on them from the community, and now we're at a position where you've proven yourself a team who can to go toe to toe with some of the top teams in the world. We've seen that at the major and at the RMR, and now it's there's a certain level of expectation, not just from the community but from themselves as well. It's this is the level of performance we have to bring now from now on.
Well, that's enough from us for the moment. It's time for us to get into Mirage and see how this is going to go down. It seems very positive for Fiend, but can they get it and find their way to the semi-finals? We'll find out now with Dinko and Hawker.
We're certainly going to find out, and I think Fiend will be feeling very comfortable coming into this after their confident win over on Nuke. They were able to pick it up. That's the hard part done. Now they head into a comfort zone of Mirage. You look at the win rate of Movistar Riders, it's actually 25% right now on Mirage, and they have never beat a reasonable team. There's no one here that's you look at the teams they beat, and it's just Namiga twice in ESEA online tournaments. When they played against some top tier opposition, some better teams, the best result they've had is a 16-10 against G2 at IEM Falls, and every other game is just being super one-sided. So this is going to be very, very difficult for Movistar to get into play here.
I should have known as soon as I had the same pick as you, Dinko. I was in trouble, man. I was in trouble. Yanko got baited into it too, and now we're all going down together.
Yeah, we are, and I think Movistar Riders might be going down here as well. We'll see if the Bulgarians can take them out into certainly the best conditions for it to happen. We take a look at Bubble's success in those entries as well on Nuke on his T side. That's certainly something they struggled with before, was creating that space. He was talking about that in the pre-game interview, was creating space was an issue that this Bulgarian side had. Well, they didn't struggle with that over on Nuke on the T side, that's for sure. And a stat that really paints a negative picture here for the Movistar side is when they lose the first player, they only win 24.5% of the round. So that's pretty low statistic in terms of being able to turn that into a round win. And if you are going to lose that opening pick to Bubble or anybody else from this aggressive Bulgarian side, you're going to find it very difficult to pick up rounds. They've got to be successful in the early round fights.
As Yoko pointed out, that double up setup for Fiend could absolutely come through and could be away on their CT side. They get a bunch of picks. They're starting on T side though, and they are starting it with a bang on the B bomb. So.
Oh, it's going to be a big bang indeed out to the B side. Out the windows they go, charging down. Alex in with 2 headshots has maybe fizzled this one out completely. Teammates came over. Davi G had a quiet performance over on Nuke. He's going to try and pick up the scraps in this one. Well, it is Ships fighting back and fighting back indeed. He will continue to move forward into Des, but in doing so, we'll walk into the crosshairs of Sampais, who gets the double kill. Movistar Riders off for the pistol. This is exactly the start they need.
I was expecting a bang from Fiend. I was expecting some fireworks. It's actually Movistar Riders who keep their cool to win this CT pistol. Fast B play from Fiend, playing somewhat similar to the way they did on their T side of Nuke, just going for a very quick play. And this means it is always important to get those initial kills and just to make sure the blocks can't swarm the site. So huge props to Alex for getting those early 2 frags on the hold. You always want your player on B there just to get 1 or 2 kills. As you're rotating over, you want to be looking up at the kill feed and seeing some good signs, because you can get locked out of that B site so easily.
I wish I knew it, Hawker, but you're a B player, aren't you?
I'm the B player.
Never happens. I love Ship's keyboard and mouse combo. It's looked pretty cool. Hopefully his mouse and keyboard are working, because it seems like someone's had a tech issue. And so tactical pause will come up straight away.
I bet it's one of the wireless mice.
I just forgot to charge it or something. Definitely happens. We are looking at... I've seen Lego with more detail in it, actually, than this car, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But we are looking at a little bit of a sting taken out of the play there. Movistar Riders off to a blistering start, so luckily that tech pause isn't too long. We're right back into play again. Current round number 2 as the Itchy will slide its way up into middle. Sampais tries to play alongside of it, able to pick it up, and Start attempts the opening. It's forced back here behind the Molotov, but this is that force buy from Fiend's side.
They'll go for this quite often in the second round, especially in a round where you can get an AK out for Dreamer, a couple of Galils in there. Happy to try and use that individual ability to crack open this round. Fiend themselves are no strangers to Mirage in this event. We saw them play it against Big most recently. They took them to overtime in that one. They've played a lot throughout this tournament and just in general. Fiend are very comfortable on this map. Very slow round from Fiend, though, compared to what we're used to seeing from them.
When you look at the scenario, for Movistar Riders, they cannot afford to lose to a force buy. We talked about how limited their round wins are when it comes to Mirage. You can't afford to lose to a force buy after winning the pistol. It just can't be. And luckily, the timing on the smoke into the ramp is going to hold that play from Fiend for a while longer. Certainly looking to go in for the 2-2 split on the A side. They've even got one player positioned at underpass who can come late into the round. They're getting the read here. They're sending another player over towards A for the defense. And 30 seconds remain for the Bulgarians to crack it open.
Slightly surprised Dreamer doesn't drop those nades to a teammate with that AK. He's decided to go in first, and now he's lost out early.
Oh, Movistar Riders get the lineup. Alex coming in with another good hold. He had a good hold on the pistol and showing he could do it on the rifles as well. Fiend going with a scary force buy on paper, but in the end, it's a paper tiger. It doesn't find anything.
Yeah, he talked about the Bulgarian bulldozer early. It just never even got into gear in that round.
Yeah, no fuel.
That's a UK problem, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I don't know if they've got fuel back now. I have no idea. How is it, Holger?
He just left.
Yeah,
he's just gone to
I
greener
left before.
pastures.
I heard how bad it was going to be. I predicted. I could see everything. All the signs are pointing towards it, Holger. You know, all the tea, all the coin flips, everything. You know, all that superstitious stuff. And I just left.
I think it's better now, as far as I know.
Because I'm gone?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, Ships doing some good work with some shots to the body.
Yeah. Imagine Fiend, you know, have AKs, Galils in the last round. They don't win the round. They actually don't do anything at all. This is the round they have a chance in now with the opening. Should still very much be favored in the hands of Movistar Riders, though.
They have still held onto the mid control, too, on the CT side. Although as soon as I say that, they are starting to shift their setup. I don't believe they have proper eyes on underpass, so Fiend are sneaking out. PG's got to make sure he's aware of this, and he is. So that kill finally brought back. The molly's a little late. Ships out into the open. Alex has spotted him, and it looks like the CT should handle this accordingly.
Dreamer trying to crunch some skulls, but couldn't quite get it onto the Master of Deaths. Red Star about to come on through the window. Mopel's holding the angle headshot connected onto Red Star. Bubble is now just the last remaining player. Should be cleaned up. Yeah, he's going to be cleaned up, though. And speaking of the Master of Deaths, I think Supplies is actually leading the way in terms of not dying the most. And we actually seen a couple of times in the competition him getting caught with some aggressive plays in the first matchup. But he has actually led the way in terms of not giving away his life and death per round. He's had the least amount of them. So it's been fantastic just keeping that open to play. So keep an eye out for that.
And in case this is your first time watching at Team Fiend, over on Nuke, Red Star did a lot of the AWPing, but in general, Han is the primary AWPer for the team on the majority of the maps. That will be the case here as he gets that sniper into his hands. Dralon pointed out on the desk, this mid-control battle could be important if you lose that opening kill on the Movistar Riders side. They haven't been too good at bouncing back from that, but this time, they've won that first fight with Alex.
Yeah, and Bubble out of the round completely. And now they try to move forward. Some pious, lovely shots from him, and this is a great start from Movistar Riders. Completely dismantling the T side early of Fiend. It's just Dreamer and Harn in a 2 versus 5, and they haven't even had a say in this round at all.
This was a very loose round from Fiend. They were really relying on just spreading out and being able to win that early mid control, win those early fights. And that is kind of the complete opposite way that they found a lot of their success over on Nuke. So this now poses the question in the future, do we see Fiend go back to that fast, aggressive style as a squad, as a pack? We will wait and see, because this round looks like it's done and dusted.
Only 50 seconds left, and Fiend are still walking their way through Palace. The bomb's still on their backs. The setup inside of the site right now for Movistar Riders
cushions on the floor
is brilliant. Yeah, it's a little messy.
Yeah. Housekeeping?
That's me. That's my hotel room right there, Hawker.
Oh, mine's way messier than that. You got a kettle in your room?
Well, actually, I don't know.
I don't think I do.
Of course, you know that. A true Brit inside of you, Hawker.
I actually hate hot drinks.
That's true. That's
hate
true.
them.
You are a failure.
We've been
actually.
through this, Dinko. I only have hot chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, that's true in Shoreditch. But we look at some of the other Brits here. Certainly love tea. I think James prefers a little something stronger, actually, most of the time. But it certainly has a little bit of fire to it. But here we are.
Yeah, he was having tea the other day.
Yeah, he was. I joined him on it.
Converting him.
Yeah. Strawberry tea. Never had that before.
That's actually all tea is used for. We don't actually drink tea in the UK. We just use it to convert people and sell it to other people.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, because everyone wants to be a Brit, right?
Yeah. No. Anything but right now, actually. Like, give me any passport I can have. Get my hands on something different. Well, now we're focusing in back on the game because, of course, this force fight will be coming up. In this round, Team Fiend just get cancelled out. There's not much of a say in that round. Movistar Riders off to a big success. They have bought again back into this one. They have left a little bit of cash because they obviously want to get a better buy in the next, but they have gone for Deagles, leaving some residual cash around the AK and AWP.
Really good sign seeing Alex there get a couple of those early kills on mid too, because he is definitely a player who's performed well so far in this tournament, someone who will be important for the squad. And another round where Fiend stays somewhat spread out, but they've lost that player on A. And oh, Alex spotted that player. He spotted the player cross past the light, so he knows Ships is here. And he's going to make him pay for that.
Yeah, but Ships actually gets out of dodge. He gets back through the smoke. Tried to throw the molly in, which would have actually done some damage. Probably would have eliminated Ships if the smoke hadn't been up. But the incendiary gets cancelled out immediately due to the smoke still up. As we go 1 minute on the clock, we start to look at the access point of the bomb. Where is it going? Starting to come back around from T-spot to regroup with its teammates inside of middle. If one player coming out of ramp, but it has just been re-smoked by the CTs, and Deaths is going to play pretty proactive towards it. Harn has to make some space, and that AK and ramp needs to start delivering as well once that smoke starts to fade away. You can see Deaths is now caught in a bad position because he had to worry about so many different angles, and Ships just crosses back over. Now the AK of Red Star can enter the site safely, but Alex, who was having so much impact, gets one, but is down quickly to Harn. And now Mopaz and Davy G have to find their way back into this. Finally, Fiend have worked their way into a round that it was with just a couple of better weapons. Deagles around it as support staff, but they found their way in.
And Looks like it's already a decision made by Movistar to give up, to concede this round over. So Fiend, after a real dry start to the game, finally finds some success. And it comes off just being able to get that mid control and split into the A site. You saw Deaths there, had no clue that they were already so far up. Movistar had 2 players committed to B, so maybe just a wrong read in that scenario. Moppos is hanging around, I think, to see if there's an AWP or something available for him. They do have money, but it was always nice to save that sniper, and he gets it just in time.
Just about. For anybody who has only played matchmaking, you haven't had any competitive experience, the freeze time after the round concludes is actually much shorter in the competitive rule set. So you don't have a lot of time to go around and pick up the weapons and scavenge them off the floor. I think that's one of the biggest differences you realize once you start playing the competitive rule set, Hawkeye, where you go to face it or you go to the more difficult affairs. You realize, oh goddamn, there's limited time to save here.
You also realize how bad matchmaking players are. Oh, that was a wide angle from Sunpius.
I don't think you need to face it to realize how bad matchmaking players are. But Sunpius, off to a great start. He actually gets out of dodge as well. A couple of players are up in Palace early, could have pressured him. In fact, Dreamer is going to now move forward. His teammate has gone down, but the rifle begins to walk in instead. It will walk right into the AWP. Deaths from Underwood, able to take Bubble out of the round, and Fiend are not able to double up in their success at the beginning of these. Ships and Red Star are left alone. Plenty of time still here for the T side, but a very difficult affair to try and even work your way into a couple of kills. You've really got to hope for some great timings, and maybe Ships can create some sort of opening. But even then, it is very difficult to see a world in which they get close to a doable round, never mind winning it.
Red Star is even having to go back to spawn to get that bomb.
I'm sure Twitch chat are loving Alex's health right now as well.
Let me find his health. There, okay, yeah. I see.
You just gotta do that, Hawker. Sometimes it's the low-hanging fruit.
That fruit was already on the floor.
Yeah, easiest kind of fruit.
You didn't even have to do anything.
Yeah, nice. It's the best way to live. Here goes Red Star. He's taking out his teammate, so it is now just Red Star alone in the world. He jumps out of the window, down into the site, and Davy at the ready. Red Star goes down, AK recovered. And Fiend, honestly, this is a pretty slow start. I was expecting a much better showing, especially on the T side of Mirage. We're starting to... Oh, I love that. Okay, production value on point. This is some 4K CS now, Hawk. It's almost like that looked like a real ceiling fan.
There's also the Movistar Riders player who has the fan next to his mouse, right? Yeah, it's another tie-in if you want it.
He's keeping his hand nice and cool. He can't be getting sweaty.
As cool as possible. And right now, the CT is looking cool as a cucumber. I don't know why that saying is a thing. A cucumber's known to be cool.
Well, they're pretty cold. Like, you put them in nice cold drinks, and also just alliteration. Starts with a Seahawk.
Yeah, that's honestly the most important thing. If it sounds cool, you just go with it.
Yeah, cool as a cucumber. That's how cool it sounds. But we are getting back into the action. A tactical pause coming out of Team Fiend because, as I was just saying, it hasn't been the greatest of starts for them. And they are now into play. 5 versus 1 up. In terms of the score, Ships is going to get caught early by some mid-aggression, but Hornet already got in behind the boxes. Alex is down.
Not much support for Alex there because of that smoke into window, so we did a good job to get 1 kill. But the 1-for-1 trade should be something that Fiend are fairly happy about. You can already see the CTs spread somewhat more thin across the map. That means they're comfortable leaving Mopos as this B anchor alone, while the majority of the CTs are currently playing on that A bomb site.
Just Deaths playing up towards Palace. Bomb is starting to come back over here. Bubble now joining them from T-Spot. Look at how many players are now coming over to this side of the map. Movistar Riders have the right read. They've got 3 players in position on the A side, Hawker.
Fiend haven't played for info here. They've just gone completely silent, seeing if the CTs play for any information, but Movistar Riders haven't budged. They haven't made any information play. This is a confident call to stick with this. And Davy G still has one more smoke. And so late in the round, that could be really valuable. But Dreamer's going to go for the fight.
Oh, Death, does he walk right into it, though? He does, and now the info is picked up. This surely is the signal for Fiend to go. They begin to place the utility. Sapai taken out of the round early. Harn butchers him into the ground. And now Death is right into the fire. And it's hot and heavy, but Red Star is even more so. Bomb topples across the top of the stairs right into Davy G, who gets a double kill. Smokes are up, and that allows a recovery mission to get that bomb back. And now Dreamer holds for the aggressive play. A Mopaz, great recovery there for Fiend. It had to be perfect towards the end, and it was.
And Han has another scenario where he out-orps some Pious. If that can continue throughout this game, that could be a real win condition for Fiend. The earlier round they won came from something similar, where Han was able to get that kill onto the opposite AWPer. The flash helping out significantly, a quick reaction shot. And then also able to push up into the site itself. Movistar have built up a good bank though, so they are still able to buy into this round. But Fiend are starting to make them sweat now. They don't have much money in the bank. It's been a much slower pace set by Fiend here on Mirage. Maybe with it being their map pick, they are more confident that they can play these slower rounds successfully. Oh, Mopoz actually naded himself down to 91 health. Shouldn't be an issue though. Up on that lamp is such an annoying angle. I would never pre-aim that.
Yeah, it's hard going through the apartments when you're alone. Try to clear all these pesky corners, but some Pious at the beginning of this round has found some success. Alex nipping at the heels of the follow-up, and this is starting to become a problem now for Fiend. The fact that you find a round when you get the opportunity and you get dunked like that. Alex sends the itchy soaring, and Ships is down. Dreamer and Red Star into the 2 versus 5, and this is that problem that I'm worried about for Fiend. You finally get back on the board with a round win, but you're never turning them into consecutive wins. You're not getting the second on the board in a row, and that just stifles any momentum. It stifles what the Bulgarians can do when they get their foothold in the game. They can just keep moving forward. Movistar Riders are showing some good play here on Mirage, honestly. The CT side has been varied. They've had some good approaches when the aggression in mid has been working for them. And most of the time, they've actually been pretty solid at getting a lot of anchor crucial kills as well. It's worrying here for Fiend.
Alex is the MVP right now of this map. And I'm not just stroking my own ego, Dinko. I'm talking about the player on the server. I'm not the MVP. It's all him right now. He's just been so good at stopping that mid control. It's been a huge part of a lot of these round wins for Movistar Riders. And you see when Fiend find mid control, they are more often than not able to start using that and splitting towards sites. But it seems like that's a big part of Fiend's game plan. It's just being taken away from them.
This is some Pious getting that opening. You talked about the rounds they were able to win on Fiend. It's when Harn has taken some Pious out of the round and limited the impact he's been able to have. It's so good when you've got some Pious getting that one pick, but you've also got Alex being able to just supplement that. And some Pious is going aggressive into Palace. Dreamer's on the other side of the pillars.
Oh, he's not ready.
Oh, Sapai is going to get caught. Now he's down. Once you commit to the angle, you have to be worried about the timing.
And this is a switch up from Fiend. They're finally grouping up early. They finally want to set up a set play sooner in the round. This could be a great way because there's only the one player now on this A-bomb site.
Yeah, that worked out perfectly. In fact, with their initial idea, the aggression from Sampaius, when it doesn't work, it's put Fiend in a very comfortable spot. We'll see how Movistar Riders hold on with 2 players. They want to play in front of the smokes. Alex is going to drop in behind him. That CT smoke will deploy, so they have locked out the CTs from the site itself. They're now starting to send those rotations back. They can get the bomb plant down here, Fiend, and hold the numbers at a 5 versus 4. They will be in a favored position to close out this round. Bubble has an issue, though. He doesn't know where he wants to plant. Oh, and actually will not even start the plant. No smokes are starting to fade away. This is becoming a disaster for Fiend because the bomb's in the open. Now they've got to turn to their crosshairs instead, and Ships has got a kill. Davy G at CT. Ships is hunting him down with a Galil. He'll still come out on top of the battle. And now with 40 seconds left, that utility is starting to dwindle completely. In fact, it's entirely gone for the T side.
But no one has eyes on Palace. Moppos is flanked all the way through Palace, and they have to be ready for that.
Yeah, Moppos is coming around the backside.
Oh.
They're looking the wrong way. Moppos could deliver impact, and in particular with that kill from Alex, but he's been spotted. Harn sees him. Dreamer takes him down. And now Alex has no shot at winning the round. It's Fiend getting into the site. It is chaotic towards the end there, but Fiend will still get a third.
Oh, it's so important that Han goes away from ramp just to check Palace briefly. He was watching ramp for that flank. He was aware that it was a possibility. Moppers has been pushing up into the B apartments fairly frequently. But going back to watch Palace just for a split second is so important there, especially after Alex gets that initial kill. If they all start looking towards Connector, it could have been easy pickings for Moppos. Either way, Alex still finding frags, but this time not to the success for the round.
Yeah, that was that early pick from Zampias, some attempted aggression from him. You know, he's confident to take some risks and try and put more pressure on himself to be the opener of rounds for Movistar Riders. He is the star of the show, in fact, so send him into Palace, but you have to be worried about that timing. That's when you commit to that peak sometimes. You will learn from that. Zampias not going for the aggression this time around, playing from window instead, the most standard position on the CT side with that AWP.
Han had enough money to drop another AK, but Bubbles decided to go with the MAC-10 here. So he may be leading the charge for the team.
We've seen a lot of bubble entries over on Nuke. Wouldn't be too against that MAC-10 creating some chaos here. Wouldn't bet against it.
This time mid-control not being contested as heavily by the CTs. This is still sticking around. He doesn't want to fight too hard for that control. So Fiend's first objective has been accomplished. They've got the mid-control they were looking for. They have had to use quite a lot of utility in the process, though, and the CTs are just trying to delay things with their own counter nades.
Fiend once again looked to test this A defense. Alex is in a good position, especially with the help of Zampias to take away the initial distraction, and they go around the corner, and Bubble gets clotheslined with a MAC-10. Ships at least pulls the kill back onto the AWP, and that's a massive kill to find because it does create that space, but Deaths is pushed down in towards the ramp. I think the Fiend side is starting to worry about the map control they have now. They just don't have a lot of it. Han tries his best, but it's going to take some heroics to pull this one back. Luckily, Dreamer has found a headshot elsewhere. If Han had connected that opportunity towards short, then they're in a very good spot, but unfortunately, Dreamer cannot tame the spray of the AK. Now they've doubled up on the CT side to play together. Han has crossed over to the site. He's going to plant on the safe side of triple. He's going to allow the bomb plant at a minimum, and he has a chance now for the 1v1 against Mopos. He's playing down towards CT with the AWP, and Han, he's made noise, and it's the P2000 with a swing around the corner. Han goes down and out, and it's a recovery of the round from Movistar Riders. They're up to 7.
Fiend finally able to take mid-control, but I really like how Movistar Riders dealt with that. They realized that Fiend were using a lot of utility taking mid. They even smoked short afterwards. So it was kind of obvious, I think, to Movistar Riders that Fiend were probably going to want to pop into a quick split in towards that A site. So they just dumped some counter utility. They have players set up, ready to focus on that connector side. And so even with the mid-control going the way of Fiend, it didn't put them in a position where they could quickly find those kills onto the site.
Looking at the stats of Movistar Rider or Mirage, not a lot of them are pretty, but certainly one of them is. Look at the CT side, it's certainly a much stronger half for them. Majority of their rounds are won on the CT side. And they're showing they're capable of doing that, so they'd be happy with a CT start here.
And Yanko said on the desk he thinks they have to have this good start because Fiend's CT side on Mirage is also very strong with that double AWP setup. So the first conditions for Movistar Riders to win this map are coming into play.
And the crazy thing about it is they actually have that option if they want to go for that classical Fury of triple AWP setup ability, because they now have
they
Shake
do that
standing in.
sometimes.
Yeah, could get exciting.
Especially in overtime. They are absolutely willing to run that.
Mopos up on top of the van. Has an angle that is going to be hard to clear out. If he gets the right pick, he should be able to take one down and get away. That's exactly what he'll do. Drop him back into position, and now Fiend swing into the crosshair of Davy G, but he had a free kill there. He really did have a great opportunity for a pick. Luckily, on the second time of asking, Davy G will start to clean it up. Storm is down, and Mopos steps in as well. This is looking awful for Fiend. They're getting picked apart and dismantled forcibly by Movistar Riders. An 8th round now for Movistar as they've already won the half.
Yeah, it feels fairly flat right now for Fiend, I think it's fair to say. And they're even hunting down Han here, pushing through the apartments. Han may have been spotted there. Well, he's definitely heard that reload. Having to look around. And honestly, if Movistar think they know exactly where he is, they can afford to just run down the entirety of that clock and see if they can get him after time. He has $0 right now. Oh, they're going to go, though.
And And they run right into the AWP, and it's 2 kills for Harn. He's doing well to try and save onto it. Desperately trying to do so. 14 seconds now on the timer.
He's still trapped in, though. They've got all 3 sides locked in.
And they know they can kill him after time if they want.
He's up to $200 now with those kills.
Wow.
Could buy a whole decoy or a whole flash. Oh, they're not going to hunt, though. Their own money isn't great.
Unlike Yanko, not too many bucks.
This buff's well earned after that round. Alex is 17-4. He's just still going. What a man. This angle from Mopos, though, really well played just to get the 1 kill. Back away. As you pointed out, Davi missed his first opportunity, but I guess he was just saving himself for seconds. So he ended up getting the 2K instead.
Yeah, he did well. Davi certainly was a weakness over on Nuke for the Movistar Riders. I think they started to start seeing that weakness in towards ramp. He wasn't really able to perform a lot of the time. So a good redemption for him so far, Mirage, on the CT side. He gets a bit more support. You're not so much isolated in his position anymore because they do have quite often a 2-man setup working with Davi, and they will have a rotator available to him. Fiend have gone for the tactical timeout here because it hasn't really been comfortable at all at any point in this game so far for this side. And this is their map pick. It's a map that statistically should heavily favor them. But they have been off to a very slow start. AWP for Harn, and not a lot around it.
They would really like to at least do some damage in this round because Movistar Riders still don't have that much money established. You can even see it in this round with Mopos electing to take that MP9.
Yeah.
But Des is the only player with any considerable cash in the bank. So if you can keep this round somewhat close and then break the economy, Fiend could still be on for 5 or 6 rounds, and that's all you can aim for at this point, and that wouldn't be too bad. That would be salvageable.
Harn starting to clear
Unlike
up.
your CS career, Ding. That's not salvageable at this point. Everyone's seen that show match.
It's never begun.
He lost to Mitch, man, everybody.
Never begun. Alex, we'll watch for the underpass play. He should be able to just charge his way through and dismantle this, no problem, as we go under a minute. In these kind of rounds, this is one of the rounds that Fiend were actually able to pick up earlier in the game. It was some weaker weapons around the buy, but this time, no shot. Harn out and just a couple of pistols. Absolutely done here. And now Dreamer's left alone. Dreamer in particular, he's a player that everybody kind of got excited about when the news came out, obviously, with the backband players could once again return to play. And Dreamer hasn't had the greatest competition so far. Coming into this best of 3, he had a pretty weak rating of 0.88. And we know this guy can perform. We know he can step up, Hoka.
Yeah, absolutely. And oftentimes Dreamer is the sort of player who likes to be lurking, likes to be out positioning his opponents. In this game, they haven't really gained the ground to be able to do that in a lot of scenarios. I also love seeing Blade there, fist bump his teammates, keep them in a positive mindset. Just because you're up doesn't mean you can lose focus. And here's a faster play, but Alex is dominating mid right now. Finally, they've shut him down.
This is huge. Alex out, and he has been the talisman so far, 20-5. He's out on the round now. Mopar is starting to flash into Con. Mid control has been established here for Fiend. They've got one player boosted up to play in the round window. That'll be hard. It might be used later in the round. The bomb is starting to go back. They might just try and B-split here. They could get him behind them, but Daviji's aware of this. He's playing back from Murder Hole.
That means Short is unwatched right now, though, which could be a problem if that split were to come through. But Red Star has grouped back up from underpass. Sampaius now has to be scared of Short himself, though, so the AWP backs off the angle, and now they don't have that early warning system on the B side of the map. He's going to try and go back, and he gets there just in time.
Yeah, tight gap for him to just pick up info, but he wants to come away with a kill first. He's taking it more deep. Oh, position, but the flash is going to catch him, and that's going to force him back. And now Harn, who was posted up in window at the beginning of the round, is now forced away from that position. He got so early on, and they overrun Sampaius. They blitzed their way through the B site, and they forced back the remaining CTs. Davi was nowhere to be seen to help out the AWPer, and that is the problem when you don't have the resources in the B site.
Yeah, look at how important that early 1-for-1 trade is. In a standard Mirage setup, you would expect one player towards B and one player towards B short who's very quickly ready to help. If that was the case, Sampaius misses his shot, he falls back, and there's a rifler there to make sure they don't close the distance. But because they get that 1-for-1 trade early, it helps them be able to just run down that AWP on the B site. Movistar Riders take the risk of leaving him there alone. And just that one solid flash forces Sunpius away. So a good adaptation from Fiend. I love that they just ran 5 up mid in that round, honestly, and just tried to get Alex out of the round early, because that's something they haven't been able to do, and now it's Movistar Riders who have something to think about.
And for Fiend, it's all about now. The objective is to get those last 2 rounds available in this first half. Get yourself up to 9-6. You know, it hasn't been a good half, and there's nothing you can do to fix that. And now at this point, you just have to make it better than it is right now, and this could be the fact, you know, try and remove some of the danger pieces, meet them head on, remove Alex early from the round, try and put pressure onto Sunpius, but it's easier said than done to do that consistently, and that has been the issue for Team Fiend throughout this entire map, is just consistently trying to find round wins. They haven't been able to put them together 2 in a row. They haven't been able to just get the streak yet on the T side. Maybe this is the time to do it.
Blade wanting to have a chat with his players. So far hasn't had much to do, so still got 4 timeouts. Might as well use one here and try and lock out the half convincingly.
And what a start just mentally as well here from Movistar Riders. You know, I painted a very terrible picture of statistically how this map should go, how it looks. Movistar Riders' recent experience on it, how much they've been focusing on it in their matchups at tournaments gone by, but obviously coming in and going up 9-3 at the start of this, that's going to make you feel pretty good about your performance already. If they can finish strong and get 10 rounds or even more, this could be a fantastic turnaround for Movistar Riders to send us into the 3rd map of the series.
Oh no, Deaths has got the timing!
He's actually slipped through, but Red Star looks back. He goes back again, and that's the openings needed. The Bulgarians find all the opening kills, and now it's just Mopos and Davy-G. But on the other side of the map, Hawker, they've got no shot. It's done, it's 5 rounds, and this is starting to look more like the Fiend we've seen.
They have this ability every now and then to just run you over.
And Red Star's not stopping. He's going in behind them. He's trying to take down Davy-G and Mopos. Money's not good here for the CTs either, so this should put them in the best possible position to try and get that 6th round at the half. They're going into the B side. Ships will spot Mopos. Least information picked up as Red Star starts to eliminate the rifles. There's Davy-G left, who does bring down Red Star. But now they know where the last remaining CT is. That one remaining weapon, the AUG around the corner. And Bubble is in position to hunt his prey down. Davy-G still looming and lurking around the same position. Bubble held back by the Incendiary. Davy-G is using that utility, but Bubble's going to go through the fire and flames like Dragon Force himself, and he's going to try and take down Davy-G, and out of the round he can't do it. Davy-G does well to keep his gun in play, and the utility as well.
Well, that scenario we were pointing out previously where Fiend salvaged 5 or 6 rounds has already happened. They've got 5. If they get 6, I think they're feeling pretty good about their chances here on this map with how good their CT side can be.
Especially if they get a pistol start into the second half as well.
Absolutely.
You know, the hard work is not yet done for Movistar. We highlighted the fact that they win the majority of the rounds on the CT side here of Mirage.
And it's the same again from Fiend. Group up with 5 early. That has been the adaptation that's paid off for them. But this time, Movistar have pushed all the way through A. They know it's clear completely.
Yeah, taking some initiative early on, knowing that Fiend have sent heavy numbers now. They're starting to do this quick takes of the sites and quick takes of mid. And Davy-G, he's cut off the extremities. Ships tried to go through and pick up that info, but he's down. And now Deaths is going to try and cause some problems inside of the smoke. That window, you'll hear the steps. You'll hear the player retreating out. That's because they've left Red Star in the window itself. Deaths has a fight against Red Star coming right up. And Red Star is in position. It's all about the patience game for him as he wants to drop Deaths and give his team a huge chance. And now they have to worry about it flying consistently. Red Star with a shot on the drop to just cover off the footsteps as well as he gets out window.
Mopos is flanking. I don't know if they're fully ready. Han is watching that right now, but Mopos wants the mid information instead. And once he sees that mid is clear, there's a decent chance he'll realize they're likely trying to split B, but they're still waiting for this flank.
That's it. Fiend have slowed down the play entirely. They're waiting for this potential play. It has to come down to the timing for Bubble. He's got the good read, but how patient can he be? And he's patient enough, but he can't take the kill, and now that's the bomb spotted.
Oh, Bubble's been having a rough game. That looked like a freebie, but it goes against him, and now they have to try and Hail Mary it into the B site, but there's 2 CTs waiting.
Oh, and Davy-G is going to get one. Mopos following up, and now Harn trying his best. It's just 1 kill to close out the half. 10-5 for the Movistar Riders. This is a great showing from them on a map they just looked so uncomfortable on before. For Fiend, it's been a very slow start, and in particular, a player that we highlighted in terms of the strategy storyline was Bubble being able to create so many openings and create that space, Hawker. This is a struggle for him right now. And we talk about the weaknesses they had yesterday. Bubble even admitted it in that interview before the matchup that they were struggling to make that space. I think that's the same story here at times. There's a few rounds they were able to do it.
Yeah, that last round is especially frustrating because it is such a good call to just cancel and just to slow down and watch for that flank. They're aware that Morpos is a player who loves to go with those aggressive plays and get in behind, but they aren't able to make him pay. So only 5 rounds. They've got a long way to come back here, and the pistol round could be an integral part of that potential comeback. But here comes the B rush coming in from Movistar on their T side, or are they? Slowing it down slightly.
They were running to it in classic contact B. They've got the smoke ready for market window as well. They're going to throw that on out. Red Star's playing towards the site instead, so here comes the charge. Fiend need this pistol, and that means they have to have a good start in the defense, and it's not going to happen. The B player is locked out. Harn is trying to fight back from short, and Sampais is pushed up in towards the kitchen. He's found Bubble. He's out of play. 2-man advantage for Movistar into the pistol. Wow. They might just get more because they've fallen off. They've saved this one. Oh, this is just an absolute stomp coming in from Movistar Riders. Starting to feel a bit better about my prediction now, Hawker. They're all laughing at us at the start, but it's starting to look good.
Yeah, I was totally confident the whole time. I definitely didn't.
Never sweat.
Yeah, I definitely didn't say that predicting with Dinko was a terrible idea. Definitely never said that.
Oh, it still could go very wrong.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We're still only heading into the second round of the second half, but it's one that Movistar Riders will be feeling very good about. As they now go to 11 rounds, Mopos has tracked them all the way back to Palace, and he finds them in their safe house. No longer safe at all, although Harn with the defense is able to pick up 1 2-player save for the pistol of Fiend, but Movistar Riders up to 11-5.
There was no kit in that round in the pistol for Fiend, so losing the site so quickly was always going to put them in that position where, unless they got instant kills back, it was likely going to be a round loss. Do have a scout picked up for Han alongside some Deegs into this round. Ooh, and there's a tag for Han. Not a bad start to the round. Fiend are skilled enough that they are comfortable playing default across the map and trying to just rely on landing headshots. Kind of has to be headshots now with that Deeg. Bait and switch setup. This doesn't look too bad. The scout can try and tag them, and then that Deeg in the apartments has the chance for the body shots, as long as Han hits.
Red Star in good position. Deagle at the ready. Body shots being landed. He's whipped them all. No, it's a nightmare. Red Star goes down, and here's a good advantage for Movistar. They take a lot of damage, but at least they have the player advantage for now.
Oh, he wanted to paint the wall with blood, but he painted it with bullets. That's not what he wanted.
Stay out. I mean, the interior design, definitely have to go back to the workshop with that one, Hawk. It's not exactly what I'd be choosing.
Yeah, neither of those are that appealing.
Well, that's true.
You were about to argue against me there. Wow.
I mean, red color's pretty nice.
Okay. Well, doing the molly back. Movistar, 33 seconds remaining, and they are about to move into B, where the CTs are starting to rotate. 3 of them low, too.
Dreamer could kill Davi G. Harn's also followed up with a kill, and this is starting to become a little worrying now for Movistar Riders as they try and dig their way out of this one, dig their way out of a hole. As Bubble's now the only player left, and he's coming back over towards B to try and see what he can find. Eagle will spam through as he gets back through the murder hole. There was a chance there, a world in which Fiend were able to pull off some chaos-style plays, but unfortunately, those opportunities now seem gone as Bubble has been very quiet in this game so far and will not be able to get more than just 1 frag so far.
Positive mentality here for Movistar Riders. 12-5 lead for them, and Fiend are not in a position where they have money. What a shock this has been. Fiend have had a rough road through this whole tournament, though. I mean, even going back to the play-in, they lost their opening best of 1. They had to come back and beat Wiesler. They had to beat Hungary in the best of 3s. Then they beat Gambit in their opening best of 1, but end up losing against Big. It's been such a topsy-turvy tournament for Fiend. Maybe the stand-in having some part to play in that.
Yeah, it's been very inconsistent for the Fiend side. I think that's just been the case of this whole competition, really, Hawk. I mean, we had a lot of topsy-turvy plays and lots of topsy-turvy results out of this tournament. Day one, it was just upset galore. Pretty much every favorite lost. Couple of favorites losing their opening game as well. Fiend, in particular, were one of the teams that upset the favorite for the competition, Gambit, in their opening game. It wasn't even close. It was 16-9. They took Gambit down, and that kind of left a bruise. Gambit haven't looked that good in this competition just yet. They definitely have been dropping maps here and there and not looking like their old selves at times. It's been quite an exciting tournament in that respect. Alex speaks into midships, and Alex with a follow-up. Dreamer out in play, and Mr. Riders just cleaning it up, making it look nice and easy. And Harn, well, he's only got a USP here. It's like playing with a water pistol, but this water pistol's nitro charge, has old toxic stuff inside of it. It's just got a kill.
Not bad. I'll take that.
You ever do like water fights in the street, and everyone used to bring like the water balloons, used to have to pull, you have to attach it to the tap and just wrap the little balloon over, fill up the water balloons, and just have a crazy fight in the street. That was fun.
Yeah, we'd do that. Had some water guns too. My brother would always give me the really rubbish one that barely shot water, and then he'd have the really good one, and would just laugh
Yeah, he
at
had
me.
the Super Soaker. You had the like 1 pound
Exactly.
crap thing where you pull the trigger once and it breaks.
Yeah.
It's
Used to
all,
have Nerf guns too, I remember.
yeah, it's all fun and games until someone pulls out an air rifle in the street. That's when things go down.
I never got into like BB guns and all that. That was a bit too real for me.
Scared of the plastic bullets.
Yeah, a
Olga?
little scared. A little
you're
too
the kid.
upper class for that.
Yeah.
Banks is sitting there in the green room right now like, this guy.
How dare you?
This guy.
Yeah, you'd be that kid that turns up like airsofting. You would have 4 pairs of jeans on, 3 coats, a hat, helmet, glasses. I mean, you're
makes
actually
sense.
good. You've got the glasses already, so you would. Oh, actually, I went airsofting my friend one time. He has glasses. We actually shot the glass open in his glasses.
That's
so
terrifying.
That's not a good move. Don't do that.
Good advice from Dinko. That's your daily advice from Dinko, everybody. Really useful
But
stuff.
do shoot your friends for fun. That's like with a
Wow.
BB gun. BB gun, of course.
We got the gun round here, and we got a fast A play being prepared by Movistar Riders out through the palace.
Yeah, and a good position here for Dreamer. He's going to wait for it. Surprise about to swing out into the fight, and Dreamer is there for the first pick. Davy G following up alongside Alex, and burning away is Davy G. Bubble, or bubble of lava this time around. They smoke up in towards the cross. Bubbles actually slipped his way through the other side of it. The bomb is up in Palace, so they still have to recover that, but Mopaz has got himself decent spot, but they traded out completely. Bubbles gone to Underwood. I wonder if they even have an idea that this is a possibility of Mopaz being here. It doesn't look like it.
That was Mopaz's turn round, though. He's finally clearing
Oh
CT.
no, the bomb is going to be picked up. Steps are being made in Palace as well here for Alex. He's really got to hope something happens here. They can't just sit back and allow that play to try and cross to the bomb, and Mopaz has been found, and so now it is just Alex that has to do everything. Brings down Red Star, but the AWP was holding the Palace exit. Once they knew where the bomb was, it was easy pickings from there on in. 6 rounds for Team Fiend.
That is a confidence call there from Movistar Riders to just walk out through Palace at the start of the round, rely on yourself winning some fights, or maybe catching the CTs in positions where they weren't watching Palace properly. Doesn't pay off for them this time, though, as they lose those opening exchanges. So now I wouldn't be surprised to see Movistar Riders go back to something slightly more standard. You see them spreading out across the map. Davy G taking top mid control. Red Star and Han are rocking that double AWP setup we were talking about too. So Movistar Riders would really love to just try and break that bank as soon as possible, because if they do that, it could lead to them winning the game, and that is almost a frag onto Bubble. Down to 16 health.
Yeah,
Bubble hasn't been burst yet.
It's bulletproof Zorbing ball at this point.
I've been in one of those once. It's good fun.
A bulletproof
I don't know if it was
Zorbing ball.
bulletproof.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll just storm in the back with it. I'm robbing the bank with this, boys.
No, I knew you didn't grow up in the the lower classes, Hawk. I didn't know you were just rolling around in military spec gear around the back garden, man. That's a little unreasonable. Which swimming pool was that? The indoor outdoor pool, Hawker?
Both, just wherever.
That's
Wherever I
for
can get
everyone
my
you
hands on it.
decided. Both heated, of course.
I'm actually a secret agent, Dinko. This is where you're going to find out. They tried out all the new tech on me.
Is that you're actually just a robot? Red Star waiting in position. Mopaz will actually just tear him a shred. And Red Star is out, so that puts pressure on Bubble, who has been very quiet indeed. He's down on 3 kills, but he's starting to come into his own over the last couple of rounds. See if he can get us some damage again. His rotations come over, and Bubble just staying alive is key. This is where, that experience does start to come through, that he's just trying to deliver impact, even when he knows he's having a quiet game, just staying focused. And now Dets is suddenly in a 1 versus 2. He's trying to try and figure out where his opponents are. He's got the bomb in his back, and oh, ships, they've just spotted him. Now they turn back. He's looking the wrong way, and Dreamer will bring him down. 7 rounds now for Fiend. There's still a very long road back into it, but they've got their comfy shoes on, they're ready for a walk, and it is a very long road that they have to go down.
And they've made their start, though, and getting these early rounds over the line was most important for them, because now they can build up a bit of money and start to, more importantly, put Movistar Riders in a position where they have to consider the reinvestment and exactly how they want to buy. It can lead to some easier round wins, and it can quite quickly come back into a scenario where it actually turns into a close game here. Nothing doing for Movistar Riders in this one. Should be almost free for Fiend.
Oh, certainly. And even if it wasn't free, Ships is stolen anyway. Still at 4K, looking for the ace, but Dreamer will steal it away. Ships is trying to get the last tap off, but you don't let a stand-in get an ace, man. You don't let your enemy side normally, don't let him get that confident. Ships has been hit or miss in this competition. I think coming in as the stand-in, it's not easy to play as a stand-in, especially in the roles he's been given. You either live or die by the sword in some of those aggressive plays. And Ships has some good games, some quiet games. But it's always good to have a player of Ships' ability to pull into a team. And I think he's actually very well suited to that stand-in role because of the amount of teams he's played in hockey. He's a very young player, but he's played in lots of different rosters. And that contact time when he's playing with those guys, he's played in Vindigo. He just played with a lot of teams in his career.
Definitely a tenured player.
He's changed up his role a few times as well, which is always cool to see, like a young player showing some versatility.
Always a good sign. Another tack taken by Movistar Riders. Blade trying to get on top of this because he knows that Fiend are a real threat on this map. Still a good scenario for Movistar Riders. But the comeback is creeping into the equation. Everyone towards A early in this time for the T's. Dreamer is playing in under Palace. Fiend have focused much more heavily on mid at the start of this round, though, so we'll see if Movistar Riders are able to make the most of that.
Oh, Dreamer, he's going to swing into the fight at Palace and catch the timing on Deaths. He's fumbling and had no idea what was going on. Got caught with his pants down, and no one wants to be caught like that. Dreamer trying his best, but Sapai swings into him. And Sapai, what a flick up onto the headshot of Hine. That was beautiful, but Bubble made sure that it's swiftly cut down and no confidence and momentum can be picked up for the Movistar T side. 9 rounds now for Team Fiend, and a big part of that has been Bubble's comeback. He's starting to find kills here and there in these rounds, and that's a classic 2K from him.
It's all about this early kill here from Dreamer. Now, as soon as he gets that first frag, Palace isn't a position they have to be concerned about. Double trouble from Bubble at the end there with the spray through the smoke. Movistar Riders unsuccessful with another A play. And they may just go for something slightly more risky here in this round where they only have pistols. Maybe even just test the waters and see what this B site hold looks like, because they haven't been here too often in recent times. Here's Bubble trying to lock down this bomb site.
Oh. Pulse on 9 HP. Out of play. Just one player advantage here for Fiend. What a comeback it has been, and we have seen our fair share of comebacks in this competition so far. The one that rings to my mind, and we got to see it right from this casting booth, was that comeback from Gambit when they were down early on their map pick in the elimination match. You had to pull off a great comeback against an opponent that certainly was not favored to even go against them. So we've seen a lot of comebacks so far, and Fiend are slowly grinding their way back in, and we know their CT side can be strong. You highlighted that earlier before. That coupled with maybe that inexperience on the T side of Movistar Riders, it could be a recipe for disaster for the Spanish side.
Yeah, you can really see Blade was quickly calling for those timeouts, because I think he is very much aware of that himself. Attempting to sneak into A, but Han has hit them with a couple of shots. And it is an easy 10th round. Double digits for Fiend. This is where it starts to look scary. 5 in a row for the CTs. The double AWP setup is rolling. The riflers are also fragging. Movistar Riders have to find a solution. And with some Pius having the AWP in this round, I think I'd like to see Movistar Riders go back to that mid control, because I'm sure everyone at home knows how important that mid control can be on Mirage. If you don't get mid control in your pugs, you feel kind of useless at times.
That's like, everybody should know the top mid smoke, right? Everybody.
Yes.
They always have that one guy, even it's only smoke he knows, but he throws it. It's so useful. Harn getting into one pick down in towards middle. Alex out. And of course, that one person that knows that smoke, definitely you, Hawk. It's probably the only smoke you know.
Alex attempted to get the mid control early. It hasn't gone their way. They double back to A.
Oh, and Dreamer's caught by a lovely headshot. Death's able to pick it out, and Harn, he's in with the reply. Death is down and out, and now, well, 4 versus 2 man advantage was doubled. Some Pius has pulled it back to within touching distance. Ships climbs the ladder back up to upper wood, and there's still plenty of time left on this clock as they start to run back through spawn. When I say run, they are shifting right now, Hawker. There's going to be a very long walk for them. A pensioner walk.
Whenever you open up that scoreboard and see that Ships is still alive, though, you have to be aware of the potential for aggression, and the timing is so good for Ships. He's going to see that spawn is entirely clear, and look at what that means on the mini-map. Fiend have a couple of players already focusing on that B side of the map. If Movistar Riders aren't aware of that, they could be running into a death sentence here.
And 40 seconds left for them to get into position. Again, we're looking at Bubble, who has been quiet, but has started to ramp it up on the CT side. He's kept his mind in the game. If he can just take one, that help from Red Star will arrive quite quickly. In fact, Red Star might actually get just back on time to look up into the apartments anyway. They're going to try and smoke in to get that problem of the AWP. Now isolates Bubble into a solo fight at bench, but they're looking the wrong way, and it's one for Bubbles, and Pies trying to get the bomb plant. Couldn't quite do it, so comes off the plant and now looks for the fight. Now he's burning inside of the site. His chances burn away with him. Bubble brings him down, and this is much better for Fiend. You can see just how much more comfortable they are on the CT side.
Looking real good for them now, and Movistar Riders try and adapt with that faster play towards mid initially, but this was hard. Hearing that player in the molly, confident that he can swing out to that close angle. Got a couple of early kills to deny this A play and the mid play that were important. That's what forced Movistar Riders back into a position where they had to go for a Hail Mary B play that wasn't successful. And it's back down to pistols again. This is getting more and more real by the round. It's like a horror story just unfolding in front of your eyes if you're a Movistar Riders fan right now.
Red Star is the monster under your bed. Alex will remove him, and Bubble, oh, he's face to face. We'll see if he can take down the rest of the squad and come in towards him. Good kill. Silver run by the Tech 9 though, but it doesn't matter as the reinforcements are already there. They're still causing problems. Mopos does have another smoke picked up, but he's caught through the smoke itself by the deagle of Red Star, who is looking to close it onto some Pius. He's taking damage, but no one has been here. No one's delivering impact now from Movistar Riders. It's all gone quiet. In the first half, it was individual performance and brilliance out of Alex. We looked to some Pius to pull them out of holes at times as well, but there just isn't that same ability right now for the Movistar Riders at all. They have a buy available. Money is looking good, but we've got to see some magic out of these couple of players. They only have to win 3 rounds, Hawk. It's not like they have to have the most brilliant T side to pull the comeback or get this huge streak of rounds. You just need a couple of pop-off moments, and maybe they could come with the experience, and, well, skill, should I say, on this team.
They just haven't been able to find any of that early success that might put them in a position where they are more comfortable. They're consistently losing those early players. Haven't really had many rounds where they've even had that mid control to work with, to try and start to split towards sites, to try and start to make the CTs uncomfortable. It really has felt like a non-starter at times here on this T side.
As that top mid smoke being thrown out. Into the window it goes, and now WG holding up. Red Star actually just to block the smoker. It's gone too deep, and so use the utility to cancel it out. Red Star peeks in towards middle. No info picked up for him in terms of actually spotting out players, but that top mid smoke has now been deployed by Movistar. They're leaning 3 players towards this B side of the map. We'd love to try and get these players into short, but it doesn't look like that's going to be a feasible possibility. So they're actually going to turn their attention back into the full head of B. I've got the flash and the bomb in behind it. Here goes Mopos. He's the front man. They're testing Bubble again. They're really trying to force the fight onto him, but he's been so solid over recent rounds. It's been a completely different Bubble in the second half, and he's not even needed here. Dreamer on the double kill. Rotations are there instantaneously, and now it's just Alex digging deep. And again, this was the play we talked about, wanting to see the hero moment, but not to be this time around. Bubble will take him out as we have camera inception looking down the line.
That first player there is able to sneak out of the B apartments for Movistar Riders, but then, because the information is gathered, Dreamer can just quickly swing in from short. You're able to bypass Dreamer initially, but those follow-up players don't have that same luxury. I think they should have been swinging, looking towards his position, but it didn't even make a difference. You can see here Dreamer picking them apart as they tried to enter the bomb site. That first man in wasn't actually able to get that entry kill because Bubble just drops that standard defensive smoke to fall back safely. Fiend keep on going with their win streak, and they have an excellent opportunity to take the lead here.
Well, they're in the connector mode. Pause. Oh, he's moved forward. Chips has taken him out from the top of the ticket box. And you need... in a round like this, you really need to get that first pick and just create that hole, create that weakness. Just try and force your way through the fights. When you're too disjointed and there's no pace in the round, you're just asking to get picked apart piece by piece until your numbers are so low you don't really pose a threat anymore. That really does feel like what's happening right now to the Movistar Riders. About to go and fight just one by one, letting this round just topple onto the floor with no shot. There's 55 seconds left. Davy and some Pius, 2 versus 5. And Ships is looking to claim more headshots. So clean on these little one-taps, Hawker.
It's the sort of play you make when you are full of confidence, which is clearly the case for Fiend right now. They know they have this round in the bag.
Yeah.
They know they have this map now in an excellent position. And this could be a real nice... almost revenge story in some senses for Fiend if they do go on to win this series, being one of those teams that didn't quite make it to the major.
Yeah.
Up against Movistar, a team who did make it there, who even got a couple of wins in that challenger stage.
And it hurts for Team Fiend. I believe it was Mirage, right? Was the final map they were playing against Copenhagen Flames. We had that huge overtime showing that they just lost out to. Unfortunately, couldn't make it through to the major itself. That would have been the first time the Bulgarians had a major berth. It would have been great to see them there. Well, the Copenhagen Flames did not disappoint when they got that spot. But Team Fiend are trying now to get some success on land going to eliminate the Movistar Riders. Grab themselves a semi-final spot at this event here down in Budapest. Flash is going forward. Smoke's being set up here for Movistar Riders. They're leaning into the A hit here, Hawker, and they're charging through.
They're already going for this. Dreamer's playing under Palace, but that's the sort of entry you need to turn this round.
Yeah, and Ships is trying to get forward into the site. Mopos has come in with 2 kills though for the T side. And Ships is still the problem. Still in the site. He's found a headshot alongside Bubble. And Ships has gone back again. Massive shutdown from Ships. And Alex now has to clutch. He has to make the hero play. He needs to go for 30. And there's 2 players that lie in front of him if he wants to prevent match point. And Ships and it's Red Star. Not easy players to bring down here, but Alex has time to do it. He gets himself through jungle. He's looking for the angles, but the bomb is in a pretty difficult spot. And so for that, Fiend don't actually need to push him. Alex can just sit back here though. He's trying to move forward and trying to take some space. Movistar Riders desperately need this 14th round. But it's looking so difficult to pull this off. Once Alex gives away his position, the other players can now peek on it. He didn't get the pick either with a kill down in towards CT spawn. Utility dumped upon him. Alex now focused on that one fight, but he's aware that they could be crossing and playing together in from ramp, and Ships will peek out. Ships with the 4K. The standing carries Fiend to 15 rounds.
Oh, it looked so good with the Mopos double entry onto the site. That looked like the moment for Movistar Riders to finally find some success as they call for the fast play. But Fiend bounced right back. This first shot was so good, and then they sneak up on this stairs player. He wasn't ready for them to be so far up, but Ships saving the round. I was wondering if the SG would be the lucky charm for Movistar Riders. They couldn't afford the AWP in that round, so they go for a faster play out to A instead. And then that 2v1 played perfectly. Don't give Alex the fights, and they don't give him a chance.
And now we head into round 29. Just Just one round for Fiend to complete their comeback and take the win in the series. Movistar Riders, we talked about the stats and what it all meant. They showed us they had a strong start in the CT half, but just couldn't get it done here on the T side. They want to have a shot at staying in the series. They've got to pull it back to overtime. Their buy is relatively weak here. They don't have a lot of utility. They've got 2 Galils out in play, 3 in fact, out in play on Davi G. This could be a crushing defeat from Movistar.
If you've just joined us, this was 13-5 at one point. They haven't won a single gun round on the Movistar side.
They did have top mid control, but they've dropped back now to reclaim the bomb. Fiend not forcing the envelope, not forcing the issue too much right now. Just sitting back confident. They know they're in the better situation. They're the ones that be picking up every round, letting Movistar execute into them. They've just had the numbers. They've had the rotations come quickly enough.
This utility is important here. There are 2 AWPs around this A site. Han and Red Star playing jungle and connector. These smokes have to be solid. The flashes need to be good. Otherwise, those AWPs could shut them down.
And Red Star's holding for that Palace pick. Here come the smokes up to cover off the face of Red Star. He's getting jumped up over the top. Doesn't have to play him alone. They boost over to the fighting ships. Just one this time in the hold. Red Star unable to connect through the smoke. Han will throw the flash over the top of the stairway. Surprise goes forward. Bubble with the kill here for Fiend. He's drawing it back again. The advantage sides with the Bulgarians. There's Han now through the smoke. He fades and gives it away. A second shot from Han. And it's all done here for the Movistar Riders. They are out here in Budapest. And Team Fiend will take the series 2-0. They did it the hard way. They took them down on Nuke. They came back on Mirage after a slow start. And they're showing what the Bulgarians can do.
Team Fiend have got such a grinding mentality to come back into this map. How often they play in general. They are such a fun team to watch for that ability to just come back like this. They always believe in themselves. We've seen it time after time. And for Movistar Riders, as soon as those rounds start to slip away, you just get the feeling they're not finding any answers. They're not finding any solutions. And even at the end there, the fact that Han is so confident to push in on 2 health like that, make that play, it just goes to show that once the ball got rolling, Fiend never looked back.
Yeah, elation on the faces there of the Fiend players. You can see them on the stage, how happy they were to take that win. You know, Bubble in particular was very impressive for me because he had a terrible first half, just 1 kill going into it. And then second half, when the crucial moments happen, when he's the B anchor, when he's that player that really needed to stay alive, get that 1 kill, he was consistently doing that. And just staying in the game mentally just shows his experience.
Absolutely. And it is obviously a tough loss to take for Movistar Riders.
Oh, yeah.
They have shown us some of what they can do at this event. They will still feel a little frustrated with the way this exactly went down, especially after Alex had such a good start. He was dominating that first half. It really just came down to that mid control in a lot of these rounds, and Fiend were able to shut down Movistar. They kept trying to find solutions, sometimes with set plays on A, sometimes with set plays on B. They tried everything in their playbook. Nothing worked.
Yeah, for Movistar now begins the difficult part because now we have this no expectations going into IM4. They show us a little bit of surprise. They get a spot at the major. They show some great performances, but now it's starting to fizzle out a little bit. This is where they've got to go back and dig deep and start to pull it back. And that's where, you know, the real teams are made and the real players can step up and show us what they're made of more consistently across event from event, because it's very difficult to keep up good performances the more events you go to. For Movistar Riders, I think they will be disappointed about this performance.
They will be. And it is always that scenario where playing against a team with a stand-in is never easy. You saw Ships in that game was wide swinging a hell of a lot, pushing a lot, always trying to be in behind them, always trying to be a nuisance. And I think for Fiend, even in that first half, you saw rounds where towards the end, they maybe should have won a couple of more. They were starting to get the rhythm of the game. They were starting to find that understanding.
Yeah, well, we have seen the Fiend side come back and show us what they're made of, and that means most of us are wrong here on our predictions, but most of the desk will be pretty happy. The majority of them will be. It's over to Banks to gloat about his correct prediction.
No gloating here, because the Bulgarian beast deserve all the credit for that one. 11 CT rounds in a row after going down, losing that pistol in a game when you're talking in context side, right? You feel like after the first half, Movistar had done enough.
Yeah, but we were saying, you know, they need at least 9-10 rounds. That's what they got. They got 10 and the pistol rounds. So you're feeling, okay, surely now you have enough, you know, game plan on the T side to win those couple of rounds, right? To get you over the hump. Maybe just individuals can win you a couple of rounds, but no, it was the other way around. Just pure lockdown straight up from the Bulgarians, not conceding a single gun round in the second half.
Yeah, this happened again, you know, like we've seen this yesterday against Sinners, where they just like were letting go of that Inferno, that lead they had on Inferno, and there they were able to just like regain their composure in time and make a comeback. But here we can see there's clearly something wrong with being able to close out games for this Movistar squad.
And for Movistar, right, this is not only you eliminated, but an event where you're going to say this is not how we wanted it to go down. Not just because obviously they're out, but this is like you expect better from them. I think maybe it was a bit of a flash in the pan if you can't do better at an event like this.
Yeah, all things considered, a pretty underwhelming performance. I mean, they even lost to Enterprise, then they beat the Sinners team that looks pretty much dead to us. I mean, like there's some changes about to happen, right? And then again here, you can't get, you only get 3 rounds on CT side of Nuke after you have a strong T side on Nuke. Then you have a strong CT side on Mirage, you win the pistol and you can't win a single gun round on your T side. So there's just too many gaps at the moment, really, and you could see that double op setup, right, doing work. And usually the answer is to try and go for an execute with more utility, so that you can negate the influence of the op, so that then they have to retake with an op or 2 ops, which is also more difficult. And either the execute itself wasn't great, or even like in the round towards the end where it actually works and Mopos gets the entry kills, then an individual from Fiend just steps up, ships in that particular round and just shuts them down completely.
Many chances were had there, right? But the Bulgarian Beast really are something different on land, because you at one point what Bubble was like 1 kill, so many deaths, everything was looking really bad for them, but they just never seem to stop. They're unrelenting.
Yeah, if you look at this Fiend roster, obviously the selling situation is there, but the person you have coming in is a firepower upgrade in terms of like you comparing to Victor. There's nothing wrong with that. Like that is a positive sign for them, as well as he's an in-game leader. As Bubble mentioned, he is there helping the team and adjusting, like helping them deal with these situations.
Victor probably sitting at home biting his nails, like I'm happy for you guys, but like is something happening here that is not going to be great for me? Are you guys seeing like a potential lineup change here that would actually elevate you to the next level? Who knows?
And we came into this, right, they're already quite high up in the world ranks, like they're 18th at the moment, I believe.
18th or 17th, something like that, yeah.
Which isn't bad, right? And they're still grinding out games. And you mentioned, Yanko, some of the age of the players, like Bubble's been going for a long time, yet they're always willing to put a little bit more in the tank now, and they find themselves going into this semi-finals game against Entropic, and they might actually have a good chance if they can keep fighting like this.
Yeah, in a game like that, I think it's pretty open. Also, the fact that they've been able to come back a couple of times, have strong performances, even here on a map like Nuke, that's one of the weaker maps for them. It was clear, that Movistar was the favorite. I think it was a case of teams like preparing well. They know that the picks were obvious, so you could prepare heavily for it, and then just Fiend executing a bit better and their individuals stepping up. Davi was missing on map 1, Death's on map 2, and Fiend didn't really have that bubble a little bit, but he stepped it up in the second half.
Well, these are our results coming out from today. Gambit did manage to take down Enterprise. They lost us 2 on purpose, just to dupe Big out a little bit here.
For you, yeah,
just give us a little bit of fun with that all. And then we see Fiend come in, and it is a partial upset just because of where we put Movistar, but maybe we're now starting to see the real factor of this team, that they're not quite ready yet.
Yeah, I think there's also this thing that happens, right? When you start winning games as an underdog team, you're doing some things right, obviously, but the thing is, your opponents are gonna see what's working for you, and they're gonna try to deny you that. So now you need to find different ways to win some maps and win some games, and that's the next hurdle you need to get over from, right? A couple of strats that run really well for you, that's not gonna work, so you need to find something else. You need to innovate again, and that's the next step for Movistar.
And this is where we're going to have to see the development of like not just the players on Movistar, but also the fact that we've got some of their veterans in that team. They've been there for 4 or 5 years. They've been on the same team, and they've now got to kind of show some of these younger ones, okay, this is how we reinvent ourselves. This is how we start to prove a bit of game. But I would say from Movistar, from what we've seen from it's not a point right now where you'd say need to make some changes or anything.
No, I don't think, not yet, right? So you mentioned these veterans. Alex, for example, he was one of the key factors in that strong CT side on Mirage. He's a player who's been around for a while, and he has these games where he just pops up. A very sharp player. I remember when they played us several times in 2019. Now, obviously, we weren't a really good team back then, in 2019, but he was like a really annoying to play against. Like there was this one map on overpass, and I was just watching the game. I was like, how is he getting away with this? So he definitely, they are there to like teach this new generation, and like David G coming in as well as some players. So I think the pieces are there for them. It's just a matter of like getting that experience, right?
Yeah.
And for that, this LAN was extremely important because I don't know like what's next for them, coming up in terms of LAN events. I don't think they're at IEM. Maybe they are. I have to check that, but
I don't think so.
Yeah. So back to online grinding, I guess.
Yeah, they've got to put that work in, which is exactly what the Bulgarian side of Fiend have been doing for a long time. We're going to take a look for tomorrow's schedule, though, because we've got our semi-final games coming your way. And we're kicking things off nice and early in the day with Big taking on Gambit. Almost a finals game that we get in the semi-finals there. Time for Drowlon to... Are you on the desk for that game?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, I will make sure he is. We'll turn it around if we have to.
Turn the heat on, yeah.
Force him to just suffer through that one, and then we'll end the day with Entropic taking on Fiend. And to be fair, both these games, I'm actually very excited for it. There's no dull game in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Gambit, I don't think they're purposefully losing the first
match. I'm just memeing.
I can see that they are purposely picking Dust 2 to get more practice on it, right? But even if you don't feel you want to get better on the map, you still shouldn't lose it to a team like Enterprise. And granted, today the second and the third map were complete stomps, so you can't even like hold it against them too much. But if you have a bad start against a team like Big, and they run away, they can run away with the series just based off of that, right? Like it's a completely different ball game. So I really want to see Gambit. I don't care if they lose the first map. Just make it competitive, like make it really
look like you know what you're doing.
Like come into the game warmed up, because that's going to be a huge problem against like the really good teams. Like you can't just be we're just going to lose the first map of the series, then we're going to start playing. Like that can't happen.
Also, very important game for Big in terms of where they are now in the grand scheme of things. Opening game against Isuba, heavily favored there. Obvious, like the win was expected from them. Going into the match against Fiend, a bit more or less of a difference there, but we still wanted them, we still expected them to be the team to come through with that. And now they're up against Gambit, obviously a team who is, I guess right now considered a bit higher in the rankings, and this way it's truly tested, the work you put in before this event, have you improved enough to be able to beat teams like this?
And for Big, it's not whether they improved enough as a team, it's like whether they improved enough on certain maps, because that's what's going to be tested against a team like Gambit, right? Like not your best map, second best, but once you go down the line, potentially Vertigo, potentially Overpass, right? That's where it's going to get tricky for Big.
Well, we've had another good day, and it's time for us to close the show. So, Janko, Drowlon, thank you for all your thoughts when it comes to these games. But tomorrow it is the semi-finals day. We've only got 2 more days left here at the V4 Future Sports Festival, and you guys won't want to miss it. So we'll see you then.